Hello again everyone, I'm the Almighty Bob, and welcome to Let's Play Time Tunnel for the Commodore 64. Time Tunnel is a relatively simple logic-based puzzle game. It's all about finding objects and finding the right places to use them all in. Like most other Commodore 64 games, this game features a backstory that has very little use. You're a gnome that's searching for pieces of a map that's going to help you find the magic staff of the gnomes to become king of the universe, or something along those lines. Now, despite the fact that you're a magical gnome that has the technology to build a working time machine, you only have two magical powers. You can shoot a lightning bolt to the left or right at a 45-degree angle, and you also have a closet that lets you store up to 4 items. Now, to find the staff, we have to go searching through 5 different locations in time to find 5 pieces of a map. Once we assemble them all, it's supposed to tell you where the staff is hidden. You're going to be visiting most locations more than once. That's just because the items you need to finish one area are always located in a completely different one. While there is one area that you can beat without going through the others, it gives us too many items that we're not going to use for a while, so there's no point in cluttering up the closet since it can only hold 4 items. Those little flashing holes that you see are wormholes. They'll take you to one of the other time periods. The same one will always take you to the same place, but there's really no point for us to use any of them. This object pairing right here is what gets most players the first couple of times they play through the game. You don't realize that you can take the cup from the gnome mansion, so you never know where to use the wine bottle. We've done all we can here for now, so it's time to go and get one of the other map pieces. Each world is only a couple of screens big, so you never have to worry about getting lost. Each world also has a door or a screen that lets you go right back to the gnome mansion. Now, if you didn't have the shield from the Persian time period, you have just been zapped back to the gnome mansion. While there are a couple of dangers in this game per se, there's nothing that's really deadly. Anything you might think would kill you just has the unwanted tendency to just zap you back to the present time. This right here is probably one of the easier puzzles in the game. It's just a matter of putting the candelabras up on the pedestals and then lighting them with the lightning bolts. And just like that, we have our first map piece. The one thing the game doesn't let you do is store a map piece in the closet. If you drop the map piece in the closet and you try to leave, it's going to keep sitting there making the explosion sound until you pick it up. So even though we have the technology to build a time machine and magic to power it, we have to jump 8,000 years into the future to actually assemble a stupid little map. Go figure. Now, for an intergalactic spaceship, I could think of a better choice of background music than Yankee Doodle Dandy. Yeah, believe it or not, there are actually items that we can manipulate inside each of the worlds. You really have to wonder why, 1500 years in the future, they'd still be using dynamite. And the game's little homage to Star Trek, here you have the transporter room. That triangle just lets you use the transport pads, but we want to step on the one on the far right. That right there is not a helmet for a spacesuit, it's actually the next part of the map. In the transport room, if we had used one of the other two pads, it wouldn't give us enough time to go over and grab the map piece before it zapped us back to the ship. Only the one on the far right will let us do that. It actually gives you way too much time, because you have enough time to pretty much do another lap around the surface of the moon. Fortunately for us, this is the only time we have to come to this level. Don't think I could stand another rendition of Yankee Doodle Dandy. Two down, three to go. Let's go back and finish off the land of Persia. Of course, we can't have any ancient Middle Eastern society without having a snake in a basket. So we found an object that the lightning bolt won't actually set on fire, so it's time for us to get the torch, which is one of only two objects in the game that we use more than once. That pit in the middle of the room will just zap us back to the gnome mansion. What we want is over to the right behind door number 1. Of course, what's the point of having a snake in a basket in ancient Persia if we don't have a magical lamp? The game doesn't give us a rub command for the lamp, so we gotta figure out some other way to get the genie out of there, such as zapping it with a lightning bolt. So of course, snake, flute, do the math. This one here is the last of the easy pieces. Everything else just gets to be a lot more annoying. been nice if they had coded the game to drop you off in the time machine room instead of the lobby when you come right back. But I guess that's asking a little bit too much 20 years down the line. The Stone Age is the one level that you can actually beat without having to go to the other levels. As I mentioned before, you find some objects here that you don't need until very late in the game. There's no point in cluttering up the closet with them early on because that just limits your ability to do other stuff. I also kind of disagree with the choice of waltzing Matilda for a scene set in the Stone Age. It just doesn't really make much sense to me. The map piece in this time area is on the leftmost screen. While there are 3 levels that we can walk on, only one of them is going to take us to the map. You've got 3 levels, 2 of which have boulders on them. The middle one, as you're going to see, doesn't have a boulder on it at all, but there's going to be a screen through which we can't go through the middle level at all, so we have to take the bottom route. All that we need in order to get the map piece on this level are the 2 rocks in the log to make a simple fulcrum and knock the boulder out of the way. It's mostly just a matter of figuring out which rock is used in which part of the fulcrum. If you try doing it the other way with the little rock as the pivot of the fulcrum and the bigger rock as the counterweight, all that's going to happen is the objects are going to fall on top of each other and stack up, and then it's all back to the beginning. I probably wouldn't have picked O Susanna as a choice for the colonial period of the United States. I guess that's also the reason why I was the one who made this game to begin with. That's just me being stupid and forgetting which door I need to go into. As long as we're in Salem around the time of the witch trials, we might as well show them what real magic is all about. Just need to gather up a few simple ingredients. We need one last ingredient to complete the spell to make a flying broom, and that's the body of a bat. The bats are a royal pain in the ass to shoot down, just because they move up and down erratically, and it's hard to target them with the lightning bolts. It's also really annoying because you'll never know what time they'll come out of the side of the screen. Sometimes you gotta go out and come back in just to reset the timer. Fortunately, the bats will never come out of the same side of the screen as you do, so you never have to worry about one sneaking up on you, stabbing you in the back, and sending you right back to the gnome mansion. Now that we have the flying broom, we can hop on and fly to the island that we saw in the background of the outside screen. That's where we're going to find the next map piece. This level is the one level that feels like it needed a little bit more polishing before the game was actually released. A lot of it just has to do with the fact that there's a couple of bugs in this level. The first is that this section right here, where you have to lead the horse around with the oat bag, it's an overrated pixel hunt. You have to get the horse into just the right spot in order to progress to the second half of the level. That can be very hard to do, especially because the portal back to the gnome mansion is right next to the spot you have to lure the horse to. Oh look, a 1 horsepower engine. Go ahead, groan at that joke, you knew it was coming. Part of the problem with the cave down here is the fact that the bats move up and down at the same speed the elevator does. So if you're stuck on the elevator and the bat's below you, and then it decides that it's zeroed in on you, you're pretty much screwed. It's going to zap you back to the gnome mansion, and you're going to drop whatever items you have. This part is doubly annoying, because you can't just run into the scorpion with the cage and trap it. You actually have to use the balloon to float the cage above the scorpion, and then pop the balloon to drop it on it. It's hard to do just because you can't predict the movements of the scorpion. And if you miss, then you have to go and grab another balloon, go all the way back up, and fill it up again, and repeat until you actually get it right. In this last part, you have to dodge falling lightning bolts and the bats, and you have to make it out of here with the map piece without getting hit once. The reason for that is there's a bug in the game. Once you've trapped the scorpion, you only get one shot to pass him by. If you leave the level and then come back, whenever you run into the scorpion, it's going to zap you right back to the gnome mansion. So if you haven't picked up the map piece, you're screwed. Now that we have the last map piece, we can just drop it off in the black hole. They'll automatically assemble to tell us where this staff is. If you read that screen in a mirror, it says that the daimyo has the staff. The definition of a daimyo is a Japanese feudal warlord, but I also read somewhere as a kid that a daimyo is also a snake. So there's only one place to go for that. Since the snake has the staff, there's only one thing to do, and that's charm the hell out of it. Now that the snake's dancing around and it's helpless, it's just to walk over, grab it, and it turns into the staff. Very confusing at this point what to do, because it doesn't give you any instructions. If you warp home and go to the other worlds, it does nothing. What you really need to do is just come to the labyrinth and keep walking through a couple of doors until we reach this screen here. Thank you all for wasting another 20 minutes of your life with me. I'm the Almighty Bob. I'll see you next time.
Never forget who is the boss of you. Me. I am the boss of you. I am the boss of you. I am the boss of you.